You can hit harder without risking more. And I'm going to show you exactly how in the next few minutes. Here's the thing. Most players think power and control are opposites, like you can have one or the other, but not both. So they either swing easy and stay safe, or they go for it and start spraying balls everywhere. But the players who hit the heaviest balls on tour, they don't choose between power and control. They figured out that real power doesn't come from swinging harder at all. It comes from 5 specific things that almost nobody talks about. And when you get these right, the ball gets heavier, faster, and more accurate at the same time. Here's all 5. 1. It starts from the ground, not the arm. Let's start at the very bottom. Literally, your feet. Most players, when they want to hit harder, do the same thing. They pull their arm back further, they swing faster, they muscle through the ball, and it makes sense on the surface. The arm holds the racket hits the ball. More arm equals more power, except it doesn't. Not even close. The players who hit the ball the hardest in the world, and I mean the ones where the ball sounds different when it leaves the racket, they're not doing it with their arm. They're doing it with the ground. Every time you push off the court with your legs, that force has to go somewhere. It travels up through your ankles, your knees, your hips, your torso, your shoulder, and finally out through your arm into the racket. Your arm is the last stop on a long journey that started at the floor. It's not the engine, it's just the exit. This is called ground reaction force, and it's the same reason baseball pitchers don't just stand still and throw. The whole body is involved because the whole body is what generates the force. In tennis, the push happens right before you swing. Your back foot drives into the court, your legs straighten, and that push sends energy upward through your entire body. The arm just has to stay relaxed enough to let that energy pass through it. Here's how to feel this for real. Next time you're at the court, before you practice anything else, just stand at the baseline and do this. Bend your knees slightly. Push hard off your back foot like you're about to jump. Let your hips rise and swing your arm as that energy travels up your body. Don't think about the arm. Just push and let the arm follow. You'll feel immediately that the arm moves faster without extra effort. That's energy traveling up from the ground. That's the whole secret right there. 2. Stay low through the shot, not just before it. This one looks so small from the outside that most people walk right past it. But it's the difference between a heavy ball and a floaty ball on nearly every ground stroke you hit. Watch what recreational players do when a ball comes to them. They bend their knees as they're getting ready. They lower their body to track the bounce. And then right as they swing, they stand up. Their legs straighten, their body rises, and they're actually taller at contact than they were a second before. It feels natural. It feels like you're driving up through the ball. But what's actually happening is your base is disappearing right when you need it most. When your body rises through the swing, 2 things go wrong. First, your contact point shifts. The ball you set up to meet at hip height suddenly arrives at your rising body somewhere awkward. Too low, too cramped, not where you planned. Second, and this is the bigger one, your platform is gone. All the stability that bent knees give you disappears right at contact. And without a stable base, your arm has nothing to brace against. The power leaks out. The players who hit heavy balls stay bent. They go into the shot low and they stay there through contact. Their knees are still bent when the strings meet the ball. That low position is like a table, solid, stable, giving the arm something real to push off of. Try this in your next session. Pick 1 ball out of every 5 and consciously hold your knee bend all the way through the swing, past the contact point until after the follow-through starts. You'll feel the difference immediately. Heavier, more controlled, less floaty. That's not your arm doing more. That's your base finally doing its job. 3. Swing through, not at. This is one of the quietest power killers in tennis, and it sneaks in specifically when players start trying to improve. Because the more you care about where the ball goes, the more your brain tries to control the shot by slowing down at contact. And that instinct destroys everything. When you slow the racket down at the moment of impact, you're trying to place the ball rather than hit it. It feels careful. It feels like good tennis. But here's the reality. The ball is only on your strings for a fraction of a millisecond. Your brain cannot control what happens in that window. The swing path going into contact and the swing path going out of contact are the only things that determine direction and power. If you decelerate at impact, the energy you built during the swing never fully transfers into the ball. The ball gets nudged, not hit, nudged. The swing has to continue through the ball, past where the ball was, and all the way to the finish. The follow-through is not decoration. It's proof that you committed all the way through the shot. If your racket stops at your shoulder or your chest, you didn't swing through. You swung at, and swinging at the ball is the fastest way to make your shot soft, high, and inconsistent. Here's the drill. Forget the ball for a second. Just swing full speed and watch where your racket ends up. It should finish over your non-dominant shoulder. Arm extended, racket pointing roughly behind you, body fully rotated. If it gets there and gets there fast, you swung through. Add the ball back in and chase that same finish on every single shot. The ball figures itself out. 4. Your core is the engine, your arm is just the wheel. We touched on ground force earlier, but this one deserves its own section because it's where the most power gets lost, and it happens in a way that's almost invisible. Your hips and torso together create more rotational force than your arm can ever produce on its own. That's just how the body is built. The core muscles are big, they're strong, and when they rotate fast, they create a whipping effect that travels outward through your body. Your arm, sitting at the end of that whip, moves incredibly fast, not because the arm is powerful, but because it's being carried by something that is. The problem is most players lead with the arm. The swing starts at the shoulder, the arm pulls forward, and the hips either follow late or don't follow at all. That's backwards. When the arm goes first, the core never fully activates. You're cutting the biggest power source in the whole chain before it even gets involved. The right sequence on a forehand is hips first, then torso, then shoulder, then arm, then wrist. Each one triggers the next like falling dominoes. If you start that chain at the arm, you're starting 3 steps too late. The arm arrives at contact with only whatever force the arm alone can make, which isn't much. Feel this right now without a racket. Stand in your forehand stance. Rotate your hips hard to the left, just the hips, and feel your shoulder getting dragged along behind them. Then feel your arm getting dragged behind your shoulder. That drag is the whip. The arm barely did anything and it still flew. Now do it with a racket and lead with the hips every single time. Let the arm arrive last. You'll feel the ball jump off the strings in a completely different way. 5. Your non-dominant hand is doing nothing. Last one. And this is the one that shocks people the most when they actually try it, because the difference is immediate and it requires 0 extra effort. On a forehand, one hand holds the racket and the other hand just kind of floats there. Maybe it's pointing vaguely toward the ball. Maybe it's doing absolutely nothing. And that arm, the one not holding the racket, is a massive missed opportunity sitting right there on the side of your body every single rally. Here's what it should be doing. As the ball comes toward you, your non-dominant arm extends out and points at the incoming ball. That arm out position does something important. It loads your shoulders into a coiled rotation. Front shoulder up, back shoulder back. You're wound. And then as you start your swing, that non-dominant arm pulls back hard and fast, like you're driving your elbow back into someone standing behind you. That pull is what snaps your shoulders around. It's what drives the torso rotation from the outside. It makes the whole whipping chain faster without you changing anything about the dominant arm at all. When that non-dominant arm just hangs there doing nothing, your shoulder rotation is slower and your dominant side has to do everything on its own. When you actively rip it back through the swing, the shoulders snap, the contact gets cleaner, and the ball comes out noticeably heavier without any extra swing speed. Try it with slow shadow swings first. Point at the incoming ball with your left hand. Then as the swing begins, pull that left elbow back hard. Feel your shoulders snap around because of it. That's new power. It was available to you the whole time. You just weren't using it. 5 things. Power from the ground, not the arm. Stay low all the way through contact. Swing through the ball, not at it. Lead with the core and let the arm arrive last. And pull that non-dominant arm back to drive the whole rotation. None of these ask you to swing harder. They ask you to stop blocking your own power. The ball gets heavier, the shots get more consistent, and the risk actually drops because you're moving instead of muscling. Pick the one that sounds most like the problem you're already dealing with. Work on that one thing for 2 sessions. Then come back for the next one. That's how it builds. Tennis is simple when you know exactly what to fix and why. That's what we do here on Blue Tennis Dude. Drop a comment telling me which one you're going after first. Genuinely curious. And if you want to keep getting better, one clear idea at a time, subscribe. See you in the next one.